Hey, IDS-410, welcome to Module 6. I will try to make this short and sweet because you all can read, of course. This module is about advocacy and defending your plan. Advocacy in terms of how do you communicate for it? How do you defend it then? It goes hand in hand. And the module curriculum is filled with some good ideas and strategies. So what the objective to learn in Module 6 is how to communicate an action plan to an audience and how to defend the implementation of an action plan, okay? So important sections here, I want to point out, how do I advocate for my position, especially if people disagree, okay? Some students I've disagreed with, okay? How do you advocate for it then? Use diplomatic language, focus on solutions, and document your plan. Now, it goes into detail on how to do that, and these are great skills to have in whatever field you find yourself in, right? Personal and professional. There's a couple of readings here, developing a plan for communication, and also using principles of persuasion. All right, those are two good sections. The optional readings you might want to skim through. There's one on communication in the real world, right? Somebody else using that besides me, and communication to promote interest and participation. So those are there. Now there's a group discussion board again. Note there are 6 specific criteria, each with a bolded focus. Number 1, describe the social issue being used in the project. Briefly provide an overview of the communication approach. Explain how to determine whether the communication was successful. Notice how the communication was successful. Not necessarily the plan right now, the communication was successful. All right. Then the next 3, you're communicating your action plan as if you were addressing a universal audience. So justify the implementation of the plan, explain how the implementation of the plan would impact society, and refute potential opposing viewpoints. This is important, to consider opposing viewpoints and how you're going to refute them, okay? For example, I've been really, if you've been following me, and then you know, but if you haven't been, then you're not watching this and you don't know, I guess, because I keep saying it, government grants are ridiculous, okay? It's not a solution. Number 1, grant funding, you can get this on the internet, has tightened up considerably, and it's more competitive and difficult to get than ever in general. Another issue is that most foundations gave more than they were required to during COVID, and they're still bouncing back from that. So whether this is a government grant, a private foundational grant, something, this isn't, to get one, are you a grant writer? I mean, if someone would at least put in their paper, I'm going to take a course on grant writing, because I don't know who's going to write these grants, okay? And who's going to give them to you. So to me, it's almost as akin to, driving by the Powerball sign, it says, it's $6.2 billion. What am I going to do if I win that? Well, I'm going to do this, that, and the other thing. I mean, that's what you do when you say, I'm going to get a grant to fund this project. How are you going to get a grant? I'm just wondering. Grants are not being given out like candy, number 1. Number 2, if money was the answer to so many of our problems, they'd be solved. The problem with money being a problem-solving solution is that it typically creates other problems. It typically has strings attached, okay? Are you going to get money from, like politicians, when they get money, you don't think there's strings attached to those for them and what they have to vote on? Same way with how are you going to get advocate for your position if on the other side of it there's a whole section, it could be, subcultural, that's advocating against you. So those panacea type solutions are just not realistic. And I'd like people to think outside the box. I mean, think about other solutions. And that's why taking it down to a very small level gives us a clear idea of what we could possibly do that doesn't involve government grants, right? Working in our neighborhood, our community, in our company, whatever it is, in our school. How do we get that? How are we going to find volunteers? How are we going to find staff? How are we going to find funding? So it's important to consider the way you're going to solve a problem, right? Because, and some, I'd like to see your role in some of these, okay? I'd like to see your role, because some students are putting a nice plan together, but I don't see a role for them. Do they have one? I'm not sure. Are they indirectly related to that field? Because otherwise, again, it's akin to sitting back and saying, instead of saying, hey, somebody needs to do something about that problem, now it's saying, hey, look, I've got a plan. Here, somebody do something with this plan. Okay, so again, let's kind of take it down to a level that we can participate in, that we can actually take action, defend, and advocate for, right? So I'm excited. We're coming close to the end now. We got this week with the peer review. Remember, it's 75 points. Please do a nice in-depth, cover those six bolded criteria. Make it clear in your post. Some of you are just so great at writing these, and I really appreciate it. Others kind of skim through pretty quick. Remember, the main post is due Thursday, nothing late accepted, and your response on Sunday. Have a great week, and set up a call if you're having any trouble coming down a stretch here. I'm glad to help. The final paper is going to be due in like 2 weeks from today. And again, it's a compilation of other papers. So talk to me if you need any guidance. I really am here to help you out, okay? Have a good week. Peace.